Hello everybody and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. We'll be getting all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we got a pretty big video for you guys. I think we have 7 first appearances, 5 honorable mentions, so 12 titles in all to go through. There's definitely some books in there you guys should pick up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week, ending May 16th, 2025. First up from DC Comics, Absolute Batman number 8. This features the first appearance of the Absolute Mr. Freeze in full. Now, we mention this every time there's an Absolute title on this list. These are books you definitely want to have in your collection whenever they introduce a new Absolute version of an existing character or a completely new character altogether. This Absolute series from DC Comics, incredibly popular with fans and collectors. This has been a home run hit for DC Comics. Specifically, the Absolute Batman, the Absolute Superman, and the Absolute Wonder Woman title series. Those have been big hits with fans and collectors. So this one here does feature the first appearance of this Absolute Mr. Freeze. This is one we do think you should pick up for your collection. You definitely don't want to miss out on these at the cover price. So go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. Next up from DC Comics, Green Lantern Corps number 4. This features the first appearance of Narf, a lion-like member of the Green Lantern Corps. Now, the Green Lantern Corps, this is definitely not one of DC's stronger titles or one of the more heavily collected title series. They are introducing a new character in this particular issue, but like I said, the Green Lantern Corps, this title series, is definitely not all that heavily collected, so the fact they are bringing a new character into this particular universe or this particular title series may not be all that big a deal. It really depends on what DC does with this character in the long term. You know, if they bring this character across the greater DC universe, then this is one you definitely want to pick up and own in your collection. If they just introduce this particular character into this issue or this particular title series and it goes nowhere beyond this, then this here may be one you can skip on. You know, the DC first appearances are definitely more speculative than the Marvel because DC just doesn't have the cinematic power that Marvel Disney has. Marvel can definitely bring a lot more of their new characters to the screen, get a lot more eyes on them, get collectors and fans interested in those characters. DC doesn't really have that particular ability, so with the DC, it really relies on strong storytelling and word of mouth to get these characters popular with fans and collectors. So this one here, definitely going to be a little more speculative. Maybe worth picking up for the cover price, $3 or $4. Could be set on a huge winner here if it goes big. If it goes nowhere, you're out a couple dollars. In our opinion, probably worth the spec. Grab this here for a spec if you can. Next up from Marvel Comics, Gwenpool number 1. This features the first appearance of Weapon X, Gwen Stacy with Weapon X abilities. Now this is the first appearance of Weapon X, that's Weapon EX, 2 words, like ex-girlfriend, Weapon X. So this one here, like we always say with these Marvel comics, always a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. You know, Marvel Disney, like I just mentioned, still churning out a ton of media on the small screen and big screen. So anytime they bring a new character into comics, you really don't know if these characters are going to hit the screen. If they do, that's enough to definitely draw fans and collectors back to the secondary market to try to find these first appearances. In addition to that first appearance, this here is also the premiere issue of Gwenpool, and like we always tell you guys with these premiere issues of these title series, it's usually a good idea to pick these up anyway, even if there is no first appearance, because you know the premiere issues of these title series, if the title series runs for a long time, very popular, has a lot of great characters introduced, then you definitely want to add the premiere issue. So in my opinion, this is another one you should pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up for Marvel Comics, Wolverine number 6. This features the first full appearance of Hellhawk. Now, anytime they bring a new Hulk variant into the Marvel Universe, these are books, in my opinion, you definitely want to have in your collection. You know, Hulk, incredibly popular with fans and collectors. Anytime they bring a variant, like I said, very popular. So this one here is the first appearance of Hellhawk. This character is being introduced into this Wolverine title series. I don't know how popular with fans and collectors this title series is, but like I said, Hellhawk, probably going to be popular with fans and collectors. You know, you probably don't want to miss this first appearance for a few dollars. You know, $3 or $4 could be still on a huge winner here. And like I said, Hulk is a fan favorite character. Anytime they bring a new variant of Hulk into the Marvel Universe, these are books you definitely want to own. So in my opinion, another one you should pick up for your collection, go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, the Immortal Thor number 23. This features the first full appearance of Kimor. Now, like I just mentioned a moment ago, typically always a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. With that being said though, the Immortal Thor, this is definitely not one of Marvel's stronger or more heavily collected title series. And in fact, they're choosing this particular title series to introduce this new character, Kimor. This one here may not be all that important going forward. It really depends on what Marvel does with this character. But like I said, Marvel has a lot of room to run on these new characters. They bring these characters into a TV show, streaming series, or feature film. Collectors will race back to the secondary market and try to find these first appearances. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that's one advantage that Marvel does have over DC, that they are able to bring a lot of these new characters to the screen. So this one here is definitely going to be a little more speculative than some of the other titles we mentioned. But like I said, $3 or $4, maybe worth picking up the spec on. It's typically a good idea to pick up these first appearances anyway. So if you can, go ahead and grab this here for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 33. This features the first appearance of Philommelos, a demigod of Earth. This also features the first appearance of Pyra, a demigoddess of water. And this also features the first appearance of Powerlift. Now with the Spider-Man universe, we mention this all the time, it doesn't really matter the title series that they're bringing these new characters into. Anytime they bring a new character into the Spider-Man universe, these are books you definitely want to have in your collection. Spider-Man is the most popular and heavily collected franchise for Marvel Comics, and the fact they have 3 first appearances in this particular issue, this is one you definitely shouldn't skip on. This is one you should definitely pick up for your collection. So go ahead and grab this one. And finally from Marvel Comics, Spider-Verse vs. Venomverse number 1. This features the first appearance of Yaleo, a new symbiote. This also features the first appearance of Venom Mouse. Also the first appearance of Venomzier, aka Katie Power. Like I just mentioned a moment ago, anytime they bring new characters into the Spider-Man universe, books you definitely want to have in your collection. Taking all those first appearances into account, and the fact that this here is Spider-Man vs. Venom, this here once again is a title you don't want to skip. Spider-Man, like I mentioned a moment ago, one of the most heavily collected and popular franchises for Marvel Comics, and Venom, huge fan favorite character. So the fact that you have a Versus series here, and all these first appearances in this issue, one you should definitely pick up for your collection, go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Exquisite Corpses number 1. Every 5 years on Halloween, the wealthiest families in America play a game. 12 of the deadliest people in the world are dropped into a small town with just one goal. The last killer standing wins. This here issue also includes a playing card for the upcoming card game. Now, like we always mention to you guys, Image Comics has a lot of their titles picked up an option for small screen and big screen projects in the past, and that's a huge price driver for these small press indie publishers. And this one here sounds like it can easily lend itself to a small screen or big screen project. And what's also interesting about this is that it includes a playing card for an upcoming card game. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the card market right now, the collectible card market. Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, Yu-Gi-Oh! All those card games just on fire right now. So the fact they are making a new collectible card game for this Exquisite Corpses title, this one here may be worth picking up just for that alone. Like I said, the card market is on fire right now. If this here has an exclusive playing card, it doesn't say exclusive though. If this here does include an exclusive play card only available in this comic book, then this is one you definitely want to own just for the card alone. But like I said, Image Comics has a lot of their titles picked up an option to pass. This here does sound like it's a great option potential. So in my opinion, this is a great spec. Grab this here for a spec if you can. Next up from Image Comics, Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 1. This here is the first ongoing Battle Beast series. And we put this on the list because this here is the premiere issue of this title series, and this here has been getting some industry buzz. And like I mentioned to you guys in previous videos, anytime there's industry buzz about a title, we typically want to share that with you guys. Because, industry buzz typically leads to option potential. If these titles are picked up an option and they hit the screen, collectors are definitely going to race back and try to find these first appearances and these premiere issues. So this one here will definitely be speculative if you choose to pick it up, but in my opinion, another great spec. Grab this here for a spec if you can. Next up from Image Comics, Transformers number 20. In this issue, new characters are introduced. Now the Transformer franchise, hugely popular, huge fan base, huge collector base, and anytime they bring new characters into the Transformers universe, these are comics you definitely want to have in your collection. The Transformers IP, just as big today as it was when it came out, huge with fans and collectors. So this one here, they are introducing new characters. It doesn't say if these are new Transformers or new human characters, but for $3 or $4, probably worth picking up anyway. So this here is one we do think you should pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from DC Comics, Supergirl number 1. This features the debut of the new Supergirl costume. Now usually it's a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new costumes or new artifacts in established title series or with established characters. Supergirl does have a huge fan base and collector base, and the fact that this here is a premiere issue of this title series, I think this is volume 8 of Supergirl, and they are introducing a new Supergirl costume, this is one that has great potential. It is going to be speculative though, because it really depends on how much fans and collectors really like this new costume, and it really depends on if they keep this costume on Supergirl or if they revert back to the old one. So this one here is definitely going to be speculative if you choose to pick it up, but like I say, for $3 or $4, probably worth a spec. Grab this here for a spec if you can. And finally from Marvel Comics, Fantastic Four number 5 facsimile. This here is a facsimile reprint of the Fantastic Four number 5, which featured the first appearance of Dr. Doom. Now, like we always tell you guys with these facsimile reprints, these are huge with fans and collectors. These don't just reprint the story and the art, but they also reprint all the ads, just like when the book first hit the shelf. So it's like going back in time and picking this book off the rack. You know, these facsimile reprints do have a huge collector base, and there's a huge secondary market for these. They always sell out, and they are highly collectible. So this one here, another one we do think you should pick up for your collection if you can. Go ahead and grab this one. So there you have the 12 books that we have for you guys this week. Very big week, but there's a lot of books in there you guys should really consider for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.